Here's what I'd like you to do. If you could have anything as your life in the next 2 to 5 years. Now, some of you, it's easier at 2, some of you, it's 5, doesn't matter. Some of you might need 10, whatever. But about 2 to 5 years seems to be a good time. Whatever that is for you, if you had somebody who had a magic wand and you could craft exactly the life you desire, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do as home play is write this. Some of you may get benefit from writing it down. If I could craft exactly the life I desired, it would have this and this and this and this and this. Not the things, but the characteristics, the energy of it, which is why I don't want some of you writing it down. So either write it down or don't. If it's lighter to you to write it down, you can. But otherwise, I'd rather have you not write it down and just follow me with this, okay? If I could ask this question, if I could have anything as my life and living in the next 2 years, what would it be? So I'm going to give you some examples. But what I'm asking you to do is not what we do with our mental masturbation is we limit what can show up based on our projection of what we can do and what it will take to create that. So what we do is we limit the amount of change that can occur by pre-deciding what we can create based on what we've been able or not able to create in the past. Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy it and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. If you didn't do that, what you could do is you could get the energy of the way it would be to have all these wonderful, beautiful, phenomenal, amazing things in your life, and then just ask for that energy to show up, and then live your life. And I would highly suggest using all the tools that I gave you today, pretty much on a daily basis, but also we got thousands of tools and access. That's why we have the classes, to explore different possibilities and all that sort of stuff. And by the way, you know when to go to a class, you know when not to. Follow your knowing and don't let anybody with access or anything else, okay, and hopefully it should not occur in access, okay, but don't let anybody tell you that you don't know, and don't let anybody make you wrong for what it is you know to choose, okay, please, because all the great people that have ever changed the planet danced to the beat of their own drummer and actually followed it even when everybody said they were crazy. Richard Branson was told he was crazy for trying to create those businesses. Da Vinci, oh, you're too creative. This will never work, blah, 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 blah. He changed the future for 500 years with what was in his head that he was willing to be aware of and not let anybody tell him no. This is you, my beautiful friends. You're called a humanoid. You're one of these seekers, and the humanoids are the ones that actually change the world. The humanoids are also the ones that are in judgment of them for being wrong, and they think everybody else is right. And the other people on the planet tell you you're wrong, except people always accuse you of what they themselves are doing. Oh, remember that in politics, by the way. If somebody accuses somebody else of something, it's because they're the one doing it. Okay. They're like cow people and horse people, yes. And you can get that in the Being You book and in all kinds of other places. I'm not going to go into it any further. I just want you to recognize that with you, the way you are, you actually have a capacity to get an energy and a space and a sense of something and have that be what leads you to create it. Okay? Is beautiful. So here we go. Get the sense, if you could have anything as your life and living in the next 2 to 5 years. Oh, one other thing. Sorry, got to say this. And I know I'm over time again. Sorry, okay. So one other thing is there is nothing wrong to ask for. In so much of the stuff that I did before, it was like, this is right to ask for and this is wrong. It's right to ask for a better family. It's wrong to ask for money. It's right to ask for a good relationship. It's wrong to ask for being really wealthy. It's right. And I was like, so I was always judging what I was asking for. How many judgments do you have of what you've been asking for? And things that would really make you happy, you're like, no, they're wrong. I can't have that, especially if it makes you happy. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So there's nothing wrong to ask for. But let me tell you what I'm going to suggest that you do is even if you say, I would like $10 million. Cool, that's great. Now, what I'd like you to do is instead of the $10 million as that is the thing and that is the source and that's the thing you must go for and that's the thing you must create and actualize, what would the energy and the space be? This is why we talk about the energy and space. What would the energy and the space be of you having, receiving in some magical way perhaps $10 million? What would that space, what would that energy be like? Okay? It's not that it's wrong to ask for $10 million. It's right. It's great. If that what lights you up and you're like, dude, absolutely. Well, feel free to ask for that. Just get the energy of it. Okay? Get the energy of the way it would show up in your life. So I'm going to give you a few things. So if you could have anything as your life and living in the next 2 to 5 years, what would it be? Get a sense of that. Would you like to have like total ease with money, no matter how much was there? Maybe there's a certain amount that you would really like. Well, you usually want that certain amount so you can have a sense of security, so you're not always stressed out about it as though it's going away. So why don't you ask for ease with money? Get the sense of having space around money, and get the sense of having abundance and money flowing in no matter how much flows out. Different point of view, eh? How does it get any better than that? Okay, now think about what you'd like to do, quote unquote, for a living, quote unquote, whatever we call that. We call it that. So, but what would you like to do? Like, would you, and maybe you're doing something right now that you love. Maybe it could just get greater. But if you could choose anything, what would it be? Maybe you want to be like a test pilot or something. Maybe you want to be a bungee jumper. Maybe you want to be the best mom in the world, you know, whatever it is. Just get a sense of doing something that you absolutely love. Get the energy and space of that. Doing something you absolutely love. And maybe for you, if you're like me, something that changes all the time and just gets greater all the time. And something that, if you're like me also, it's like something that actually contributes to people, but also contributes to creating a sustainable future for our planet. Like truly sustainable, being able to go on indefinitely. Okay? And as far as relationships and friendships, what would it be like to have all the people who judge you and hate you dissolve? And one of the ways I like to say that is, if everybody in your life died today, who would you hire back tomorrow? Just get that. And get the sense of having people in your life. And remember, here's the crucial point. You don't have to know how any of this is going to happen. In fact, acknowledge, I don't know how any of this shit's going to happen, but I'm asking. Because I'm asking from miraculous and magical right now, because that fucking logical shit has gotten me not nearly as far as I would like to go. Thank you very much. I'd like the next 2 to 5 years to be totally fucking different. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so that's the area of relationships. Family, how would you like your family to be? How would you like them to treat you? How would you like them to see you? I know my family used to judge the fuck out of me, and then I started making a lot of money, and then they started judging me less. It was great. And it was like, okay. And also with what contribution you be to the world, what is that like? And your living space, what would it take to have an awesome living space? If you really love nature, ask to be closer to nature. Like I'm here in friggin' Houston, and I've got nature in my backyard. I've got an acre of nature with a friggin' bayou running through my backyard. Are you kidding me? Who does this? It wasn't me that did it. It was the miraculous universe in which I live and am willing to be part of and receive from. So on the order of miracles, what about having a life and living that's also got miracles in it, where things show up even greater rather than even worse than you thought they would, where you have a sense of communion with earth, in a sense of being bigger than even the earth, but connected to it totally, a sense of not being downtrodden by reality, a sense of being a person who by your very being creates a change in reality in the world. And while you're at it, look at the future you'd like to have for our planet in the next 2 to 5 to 10 years. If it could be anything, what would it be? For me, it's a world in which kindness, generosity, ease, joy, and glory, and possibilities and consciousness reign. And for me, consciousness really is the thing that gives us all of that. That's what I'm asking for. In fact, Monica, can you send me the 10 things, please? I want to tell you, we asked for the world that we would like to see a while ago. And let me tell you the 10 things that we asked for. Okay, a world without separation, true justice, stewardship of and with the planet, statesmen to the fore and politicians to cease, consciousness infecting the whole world, a world of possibilities, not limitations, actualization of the 9 trannies, which is these 9 magical, miraculous capacities that we all have that we pretend that we don't have, and that we've been hiding like crazy. True environmental awareness, embodiment embodiment, as part of the joy of being, and riches and wealth for those that are willing to have it. So those are the 10 things that we asked for as a beginning step to actualizing different possibilities for the planet. Now, notice what I did. Talk to you about the space and the possibilities. And please know, here's the other thing. As soon as I say it, you get it. So as soon as I say it, get it. And then you don't need to think about it anymore. Just realize you already got it. Okay. And notice what I did is weave the space and the possibilities for these different things, and they will show up for you differently than they do for me. And that is perfectly appropriate. Go for yours. And please, 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 please always follow you. You know, I don't. Okay. I know for me, you know for you. Please always follow your own knowing. Do not follow me. Thank you. So what I did in that is acknowledge all of these things, but then also notice how beautifully it ties in with the future of the earth. Because guess what, guys? We are, if we choose to be, we are the future of the earth and the universe. How much of that would you like to know and be able to contribute to without the weight on your shoulders of I'm not doing enough? Let that fucking weight go and allow yourself to relax and enjoy the journey, because the more joy that you be, the more our world changes. The more you enjoy the journey, the more our world changes. So now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get a sense of all of that, okay? Everything you asked for, the sense of all of those energies. And it seems, wow, it's bigger than when I've ever done it with any group before. This is awesome. And this also is partially, this is our contribution to each other. Like when we get together and dream together, it's actually not a dream. It's actually dreaming big, but it is actually creating bigger. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. When we get together and explore possibilities together, this is what occurs. This is why I love my job, that I could not have predicted 20 years ago, but I asked for it and I can't believe it fucking happened. How does it get any better than that? Or I guess I can't believe I created it in conjunction with the benevolent universe in which we live. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get a sense of having all of that. Now for you, it may be kind of like it is for me. It feels like it's kind of everywhere, which is interesting. Because usually I would say, you know, put a ball in front of you, but it's not actually a ball. It's like just all that energy. So what I'd like you to do is wherever that energy is for you, I'd like you to pull more energy into it from all over the universe. And it's a really big universe. Okay. Okay, good. Until your heart opens up. And now let little trickles go out to everyone and everything throughout the planet and the universe that's going to contribute, everyone and everything that will contribute to you in making this happen. Okay? Because there's going to be little kids who will say something talking to their mom that will give you the awareness you require. Don't believe that it has to come from anywhere. Don't believe it has to come from me or some other person or some other book or some other thing that you've been doing. Everything that is times a godzillion way, destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, anything that feels like that energy that you just got, do it. Okay? If it's you're scrolling videos online and it looks like that energy, do it. By the way, if I may make a suggestion, when you're watching a video or watching a newscast or something, or for those of you that follow politics a lot and whatever, as soon as it starts getting heavy, change the fucking channel. Go do something that makes you light. When you're truly light, that's when you're being you. That's what I did. I was down the politics rabbit hole for a while, and then I'm like, enough. I turned off all the news feeds on my phone, and I'm like, I will get, and I always get the information I need. Whenever something is big enough to where I need to hear about it, I always find out. But it's sort of my deal with the universe that the universe will take care of me and let me know what I need to know. So I do that. So to the degree that you can choose the things that are lighter and choose the things that feel like that energy, that have a sense of that energy or a sense of that space to it. What energy? That energy of all the things we just asked for. Every choice you make for that gets you closer to actualizing that. Actualizing is how it shows up, or that it shows up, I'm sorry. Gets you closer to actualizing that as your world. If you will endeavor to increase your space every day using all the tools that I just gave you. Also, guys, I've got, I don't know, something like 500 videos online between YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I've got a ton of free videos on YouTube. It's called Tour of Consciousness. Would love it if you became part of that, because you get videos every now and again, you get notified. There's so many things that we have in Access Consciousness, so many amazing facilitators. Follow your knowing. Ooh, that's light. I'll do that. Okay. And please know it doesn't have to come from me. That is the beauty of this. And I am more than happy to have it come from me too. Okay. It's like all of it. But that's the beauty of this is I don't have to be the source. I am not the only source. Okay. I'm just the source with the loudest mouth sometimes and the most ADHD that I will expose in public. Just don't tell anybody. Or you could tell everybody. I don't care. But that's the beauty of this. This universe in which we live has so many possibilities. This beautiful planet has so many possibilities. And there's so many more things I would love to talk to you about. But right now I am way beyond out of time. I just want you to know there are all these resources available and remind you about the class that is on the 17th that, goodness, especially after all of us doing this, like we are like a pig in a python and we create a movement forward and we do something like this. And then the next class is able to be even greater based on what we chose and what we got to today. And I personally thank you for that. And I also thank you for being the seeker and the dreamer that you are. Now is our time, my beautiful friends. And it may not have been, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, in January. Now is our time. This Corona thing pressed reset on the world and changed things in a way to where those of us that are willing to embrace that and run with it have a dynamic possibility for changing everything that shows up for us, but also collectively changing and creating a greater possibility for the world. And we have tons of resources and access. Please seek them out. And you can go to my website, as you know, and there's a ton of stuff there. There's the Being You book. There's the free audio. It's an hour long. Please, 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 please. Would you please get that energy that we talked about and now acknowledge, here's the other thing that I forgot about. Please now just acknowledge I'm asking for this as my life and living, no matter how long it takes, no matter what it takes, no matter what has to change in my life, no matter who I have to lose, who I have to gain, what I have to gain, what has to change. Dear universe, dear consciousness, I'm asking for this. Please help. And please make it as much ease, joy, and glory as possible. Everything that doesn't allow it, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. What if you, truly being you, still dreaming with a sense of possibilities, a sense of joy, a sense of childlike wonder, and a knowing that you can create it, are the gift, the change, and the possibility this world requires. You are my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for being part of this today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And thank you for being in the world. I cannot wait to be with you again. Really. Mwah.